I've got you for an hour and I've got to get through an awful lot of material basically. Let me know in the chat. Some of you already have what you're wanting video for and what you're going to want it to achieve for you. So let me know that in the chat. Video, as I'm sure you're aware, someone said it in the chat earlier, it's an absolute scroll stopper. There is nothing better if you're trying to sell things than encapsulating it in a video in terms of product stuff. If you've got a product page, embedding a video into the product page is fantastic. I know we've got some course creators online as well. Obviously, when you're doing a course, when you're creating courses, you're going to be recording the videos. So that's one thing. Secondly, also and I'll show you an example of this that I had to do for my AI video power up course, things like orientation videos. So someone joins your course, rather than sending them 75,000 emails in the first 5 minutes, an email with a video link in it, it's a lot easier to absorb information. And let's be honest, some people just are much more visual people, and if they find it a lot easier just to watch a video rather than reading masses of reams of copy. So I think there's a space for both of those things when you're doing course creating things. But I think also when you're walking people through demos of software, so if you're an affiliate salesperson and you're doing software demos, then obviously a screen share thing, video is built for that. Bo, yes, this is a replay. There will be a replay that this is being recorded, so you'll be able to catch this and all of the other UBS replays on the YouTube channel. Let's crack on with the first kind of thing we're going to talk about is video in email. Anyone online now, do any of you, rather than sending massive emails, do you ever just jump on camera? Oh, Mark's saying, what about using SMS with a link to a video? 100%. Absolutely. This is anecdotal. So this is actually really well timed, Mark. So basically, this sounds weird, right? But if I'm sending an email where I definitely want the person to read it, read it, you don't read a video. But if I want to get through to someone and it's quite an important thing, I will do a video for them. And there's an example very recently where there was a particular person I wanted to reach and start up a dialogue with about some potential collaborations. And I will demonstrate the process I went through with Dave to get his buy-in for the collaboration, which has actually been successful. And it's so simple. So any of you guys heard of Loom, Loom? So this, if you haven't got either of these, yeah, Bemby's heard of it. And then obviously there's Google Vids as well. Now, if you've got Google Workspace, you will automatically, as part of that, have Google Vids. Please start using Google Vids, because all you need to do is if you've got a laptop or you've got a computer with a camera in the screen, or I'm using a webcam that's attached to my computer here, sending video emails is a really effective way of getting people to know that you're not just spamming millions of people at once. And that's what I'm saying. I pick and choose when I use them. But also, if I'm trying to talk about a particular pitch that might be quite complex, and let's be honest, if it's a couple of minutes long, the video, and there's quite a lot of moving parts in terms of what I'm proposing, then actually the email version of that will be reams and reams. And as soon as people see like a chunk of copy, people will switch off and you just won't get any kind of traction with that. What I did, let me just sort out my sharing situation. I'm now going to share a much more exciting set of things. Where are we going? We're going to go to here. What I'm going to do is I will show you. So this is Google Vids, okay? I'll go back to Vids Home. So this is if you have got Google Workspace. Just type in, so you can see there's the little waffle thing there with all my Google apps, and Vids is one of them. But if you don't know where it is, just type in Google Vids and you'll be able to get to it. So literally all you do is you press the plus button here, and then you can either use AI video to generate something. We're not going to be interested in that. You can create AI avatars. So this is like turning into a one-stop shop from a Google perspective of all of the different ways of creating video, which is fantastic. But actually what I want to do is I want to record a message. I am going to, hopefully this hasn't freaked out the system. I'm just noticing because I'm using the same camera. So look, you can see here, you've got camera and screen. Okay, I want to share my screen there. So then it's going to record me. I'm going to actually do this and see. Imagine I am talking to this person who runs this business on Etsy and I'm going to pitch them something. So it's recording now. Hello, Jeff. I've just come across your amazing product page on Etsy, and I just think that I've got this is a terrible pitch. I should have thought about this before I did it. Folks, this is live, right? Please don't judge me. In real life, what I would have done before I press record, yeah, lol, I would have gone through and actually bullet pointed my points, what I wanted to tell these people. Yes, exactly. This is a safe space, okay? This is me. This is behind the curtain. It's not all showbiz here. Anyway, I think your cushions and the products that you're selling on Etsy, I think are fantastic. I want to talk to you about the possibility of creating some amazing product videos for you that will give you a massive uptick in sales on Etsy. Okay, I will send you all my contact details will be in the video. All my contact details will be in the email that I'm sending you, but I would love to have a chat with you. If you've got any questions, definitely hit reply to this email. I really look forward to hearing from you soon. Have a fantastic day. Cheers. That was painful. Anyway, so I stop that and then I go back into this. There we go. So basically you can see it's got the video bit and then it's got the page that I'm talking about. I'm not going to share Afsel. I'm not about to give you my email because I don't want to be bombarded with stuff. So then you press insert here, and then basically Google Vids is uploading both bits, the bit from the camera and the bit from the screen share. Okay. This also is a really good way of not only doing video emails, but also if you are recording video for courses, this is one of the ways you can do it. Okay. And like I say, so I'm paying for my Google Workspace, I think it's about 18 quid a month. So that's pretty good. And you get so much with it. So if you are a course creator or if you're interested in doing outreach stuff personally. So for me, what I do a lot of is I do a lot of YouTube channel reviews, all that kind of thing. This is absolutely brilliant because I can have a look at their YouTube channel, waffle on about all various different bits and bobs. And then that is a real value add for them. Okay. And then what we do, I'm just going to call this demo so I know what it is and I can delete all the horrendousness later after I finish this. What you then do is you share the video and it will give you a link in a second, won't it, Google? It might be because it's still uploading it, to be fair to it. But anyway, you press the share button and then you will get a link. It's taking absolutely for ages. Can I use this for sharing how I make designs for my online page to show customers how I create? Okay, great. Okay, anyway, just believe me when I say that the sharing button gives you a little link that you can then cut and paste into your email. The thing to say is whatever you don't directly paste a video into an email because the files are massive and it won't send. So sorry, Bo saying, can I use this for sharing how I make designs for my online page? Yes, to show customers how I create my designs. Absolutely. I think the thing is when video is a really good way of demonstrating your value, particularly, Bo, are you a web designer then? Is that what you do? Let me know. It's a really good way of demonstrating value. Like I was saying, I use it for the YouTube stuff. I also use it for if I'm pitching to people. What I would actually also do in the situation here, and I'll show you the edit that I did, because obviously that was pretty awful, as you saw, in terms of I wouldn't share that video as it was. However, what I will do is I will show you a fabulous thing. Who's heard of Descript? Anyone who's been on any of these sessions before, I'm like a paid spokesperson for Descript, although I'm not. I just love it. Let me find you the project. Let's see where it is. Okay, that's actually something we're going to look at in a second. Descript is fantastic for editing. Dave, here we are. So this is a video message, right? So a bit like the one I've demonstrated very well that I'm not very good if I haven't bullet pointed what I'm saying. Okay. So please, if you're doing video emails, don't just rush into it like I just did, because you can see the terrible result that ensues and it's not great, right? But then what I do is I will download the file from Google, because you can download it. Again, it's in the share button that I showed you a second ago. You can download it to your system, and then literally all you do I'll show you where you do it in Descript. You'd make it a new project. Let me just have a look look at this. And then literally you cut and drag the file from your machine into this area here. And then it will do a lot of uploading, thinking about it, and all of the rest of it. Let me delete that because I don't want that there. And then I will show you, basically then you can go in and edit the video, your little video email, like a Word document. You can see here, it's basically, if I wanted to take that section out, I literally just highlight it as you do in a Word document and then press delete and it goes. If I want to move this section and I go, I'm on a Mac, right? So I think it's Control, whatever you, if you're on a PC, I'm a Mac person, so I really apologize, but I think it's Command or Control X, but I'm going to do Command X to get rid of that section. And then I can say, actually, I fancy that bit being at the top here. I then Control V it and it moves things around like that. Okay. So I'm just going to undo that. But literally that's all it is. And in the background, you can see all of the video side of it's just being done by the software. Okay. Bimby saying, remember it from last time. Can it be used for easily editing audio files? Yes, absolutely. Actually, Descript started life as a podcasting platform. All you need to do, Bimby, is when you do new project, you can see audio project. Okay. And actually there is one somewhere lurking here, I think. I was doing one the other day. There you go. I did a thing. That's just audio. So obviously there's no picture or anything there. So that's how you know it's audio. But yes, absolutely you can do that. So there you go. So in terms of if I was actually going to send the terrible video email that I demoed you just now, I would 100% export it from Google, import it into Descript, and then just take all those awful bits out. However, the way to minimize all the edit bits of it is to make sure that you bullet point what you're saying first. I think the thing as well, I will say about doing video emails is if you are trying to do it in one take, it's always so much harder to do it in one take. You can do it, and I do it every now and again. But as I say, if it's something that it's really important and I really want to get someone's buy-in, I will absolutely give myself the grace to go, do you know what? If I say something and I'm not particularly happy with the way it sounded, or I tripped over my words or whatever, you don't want it to come across as a sales video too slick, but at the same time, you don't want to look like an idiot. So I would always advise that literally editing that video probably took me 10 minutes, not even that. You can see there's lots of ers and erms in there. I've left them in there because I want it to feel human. When Dave got this, I didn't want him to think, oh, Jeremy's just sent me a promo video. That's not the vibe at all. Okay. So anyway, so that is video emails, which I would really encourage you to have a go at, really. Let me show you the other thing that you can use, which is vids. Let's share that. So then you can, where is it? Videos. The other thing is Loom. So loom.com. And then very similar kind of setup to Google Vids. You just go there, record a video. Okay. And then it's the same sort of thing. But again, like I say, if you are sending someone an email, in the same way you don't waffle when you're typing, just get to the point, bullet point it, be human. If you make a mistake, don't worry about it. Take it back, take it into Descript to edit it afterwards. So there you go. So you've got Loom and then Google Vids, which is what I use. Okay. The other thing to say actually is it's got a slight tangent, but because I know people on the call are doing course making, I'll reshare Descript, because you can do, as you've seen, you can create course videos in Google Vids without a problem at all. But you can also do it as well within Descript as well. Let me show you something that literally I was doing a demo for my course. I'm very happy to show you behind the curtain. So basically I was doing a demo and you can see the screen share there. You can see me there. So literally all I did to make this happen, okay, was I went into a new project. I went into a video project. I then said record. I then said screen. And I don't know if you can see both the windows, but then suddenly I've got another sub window with my camera, what microphone I'm using, and then the screen select thing. It's very like you do with Zoom. if you're doing a screen share on Zoom. Okay. Oh, I think you can see it actually because I've got a little kind of screen share icon next to it. So yes, you then go, I can see that's my webcam, that's my microphone. Thank you very much. And then that's what I'm sharing on screen. So then literally all I do is press record and talk. Okay. And then you then go through your slideshow or whatever however you do your course stuff. Okay. And then obviously again, because you know you're recording, and the beauty of recording in Descript as opposed to Google Vids is that you're recording straight into the editor. So then you can, once you've stopped recording your piece, you'll then get something like, excuse me, whilst we do a bit of housekeeping. So you'll then end up with something like this, where you can see this is raw and unedited. Okay. Can you turn the camera to a laptop screen so your voice is heard? Yeah, sure. So let me show you, Mark. If you didn't want to be on screen, right now, Mark, I'm going to encourage you to build your camera confidence because humans connect with other humans, not just a voice. And the thing we got to bear in mind, now I'm not giving you grief and it's a bit naughty of me to pick on you, let's say, but all you do that, Mark, would be this. You go record still and then you go, now you actually, you know what I would do actually? That is interesting that there isn't just a screen thing. I would record both, Mark. And then what you can always do is, I'll show you how you do this. Yeah, okay. So you don't mind being on camera. I always think putting a person on camera, like in your little kind of thing there, is a good thing to do. Anyway, if you didn't want to do that for some reason, Descript's good because it's basically like Canva. So, you know, this is it fitted to the window. I can make it the size I want, but also critically what I can do is I can just go delete that element and then all I'm left with is the screen. So I thought there was a screen only option, but there isn't. But that's how you do it. Okay. But yeah, I don't know. I just think it's nice. Even if obviously if you're doing software stuff, rather than just a disembodied voice, this is my producer hat on. I always quite like to see the human because what that gives you the ability to do is imagine you, like I'm saying, oh, you highlight this, do that. But then I can do an aside to the camera because I know that's where you guys are. So I think it gives you that ability, and particularly so much, I think it's something like 90%, I'm making that stat up, but there's a massive amount of non-verbal cues that we as humans pick up from you seeing me, right? And you would basically, obviously, if you're just a disembodied voice, you're missing out all of those non-verbal cues, which does change the whole experience for the people who are watching you. Okay. So that's it. That is how you can do. So I've given you 2 ways of basically recording easily things like courses, your amazing video emails and such like. Okay. So one of the things I was mentioning at the top of the hour that I do talking about courses is those course orientation videos. And actually, given we're in here, I'll show you one that I did not that long ago. And again, this is done in exactly the same way that I've just showed you the recording. Literally go into record, screen and camera, and then talk. But again, this is another thing where I bullet pointed what I was going to say, because this is about, I will do that. I'll sort that out at the end for you, the YouTube replay page thing. So yeah, just rather than scrambling around and trying to work out what you're going to do in what order, you can, if you want to, you can fully script something. It really is. That's one of those things that I would encourage you to just try. And the one thing that I think is so important is that you just try and you give it a go and you start. Because the thing is, for example, if you, like I just demonstrated, you do an email and record it and you freeze and it's all a bit of a nightmare, please push on through that discomfort because you're not being forced to share that with anyone. Okay. So you can absolutely practice in private. And I would encourage you to do that because being on camera, doing presentation, it's a really good skill to have. And it does take time to get confident in doing it. I've been doing it now for about 6 years, and you can see I'm still pretty rubbish at it when it comes to trying to do things on the hop. Okay, but this is why you've got things like editing software to help you out, so you know there's no pressure. But I just would urge you guys, if you want your business to succeed, you have to get yourself out there. And one of the best ways of doing that is with video. Whatever you're doing, whether you're selling courses, whether you've got a business in service, selling services or demoing software. I think where I'd really love you guys to get to, I like that. That's really subtle, Mandeep. How long more on this webinar? It's an hour's webinar, right? Is it too boring for you? Feel free to go make a cup of tea. But yeah, absolutely. I would really encourage you to just give this a go and start practicing and building your video creating muscles because it's such a key skill to have. And for example, I'm just thinking of our lovely, I think it's Mark who's doing this sort of demos, the software demos and stuff. Imagine if they'd just done an update to whatever it was that you're selling. If you're in a place where you feel okay on camera or it's not a big song and dance to jump onto camera and just riff around a few bullet points, you can then jump on camera very quickly, low stress, and just go, okay, so imagine Descript has just done an update to this piece of software, and this is the thing here, and blah, blah, blah. And literally within 10 minutes, I've recorded something which is massively valuable to my audience. And where do you get a copy of Descript? I will put a thing in the chat. Actually, I'll tell you what I'll do quickly. I've got a tools page, which I keep updated, but basically this, I just went and got it, but then realized I'm not actually sharing that bit of screen. I will put it in the notes, where's the chat gone? There, sorry. If you go to that page there, you'll see something like that. I keep this updated. These are all the tools that I use personally, and some of them are affiliate links, a lot of them aren't. But these are tools that I personally stand by because I use them every single day in what I do. So yeah, Descript, you can grab that there. I use for voiceover stuff, 11 Labs is amazing. We'll talk about that in another time. Opus Clip's very good as well. But yeah, just have a look there. As I say, at the moment, in terms of AI, I'm using Claude much more. Perplexity I use quite a lot. Gemini I use a lot as well. GPT for me, I don't love it as much as I used to. So these three really. But again, there's no right and wrong, and it depends what you're doing with the AI, really. If you're doing sort of writing and that sort of thing, Claude's really good. But yeah, the point is really give yourself the space and grace, carve out time in your busy schedule to develop these skills. Bimby saying, saw this course on Kajabi for AI video power up. Does UBS Go High Level allow courses to be fully hosted there? That is above my pay grade in the sense that I've never used UBS/Go High Level for courses. That is a Roger question. I just type it into Google and see what it says. Personally, UBS and Go High Level is fantastic for customer facing stuff, so all your emails, obviously your web pages, your landing pages, your CRM stuff, it's absolutely awesome for all of that. As I say, don't know that it's rubbish, and I wouldn't say it's rubbish, but I think if you're selling a course, that course needs to be on a platform like Kajabi, and I use a course platform called Experienceify, which is gamified. So think along the lines of Duolingo, right? The reason Duolingo, which is a language learning app, is so good is because it's gamified, so people get little points and stuff like that, and people get dopamine hits, so it's brilliantly tuned into behavioral science. That's what you need for when you're designing courses. Bear in mind the average course completion rate is 3%. 3%. So only 3 of every 100 courses you will sell will actually complete it. So you might go, oh, that's all right, because I can just sit drinking pina coladas or whatever in the Bahamas whilst only 3 people complete my course. The trouble is, you then get no feedback because people just aren't doing it, which is a big issue. So you need to think about that side of things as a course creator. And ultimately, I sell courses. I want people to actually get the results from the courses that I sell because I want them to have the transformation that's in there. You know what I mean? So just think it is something that you need to think about and invest wisely in, whether it's Kajabi, whether it's Thinkific, whatever it is. Make sure you make an informed decision on that, I would say. As I say, we'll go talk about the course kind of orientation video. And this is something that you definitely need to do if you're a course creator. And it's something that I'm going to be hands up. Oh, Coursera is good. Yeah. What software did you say you use? I use a thing called Experientify, and actually, Experientify. Yeah. If you, I'll chuck you a little link in the chat now, and if you want to go and have a look at what it looks like, just go and have a look at. This is a free course you can get involved with, but it's on that platform. All my free courses, there's about 3 or 4 courses that are on that platform, and my completion rate's about 30%. Experientify is gamified, yeah. So it uses behavioral science to motivate humans, us, to do the stuff they need to do. Because, as I say, course completion is really on the floor. People love buying stuff, but then don't do anything with it. So which I think it's wasting their time, it's wasting their money. It's not an optimal outcome. I don't think, especially if you are a course creator and you're genuinely wanting people to get the results that they've paid for, then you want them to complete the course. Part of which is to make the onboarding process as good as it can be. Now, that is something that I fell foul of. I'm going to be completely straight with you. However, again, because you've got things like Descript where you can jump in very quickly. So I just got some feedback from one of the cohorts a few months ago, and they were like, "Oh, what do I need to do?" And I thought, actually, I haven't done. There was an automated email sequence that went out to tell people stuff. And like I said before, not everyone wants to read emails. For some people, actually, a 3-minute video is absolutely fine. And when you're creating, well, whatever content you're creating, you need to bear in mind that some people like reading, some people prefer audio, some people prefer video, all right? So make sure you're in all of your external communications that you're pushing out to the world, you are bearing in mind your audience, because it's not about what we fancy doing, it's about meeting our audience where they are in the format that our audience want to be talked to with. So one of the things I did was literally walk through, this is the email that you'll get, and I showed them the email so that when it falls amongst 2,000 other emails into their email inbox, they know it's that email. And then you go through it and show them, this is the link, this is where the link will be, that's what you click on. And then, as you can see here, I'll just scroll through it for you. Yeah. So I then went through physically the Kajabi bit of it and said, this is where it'll be, this is what you need to click on. So it's basically a screenshot demo, effectively. But again, that is a critical part of the assets you need to create. If you're doing courses, yes, the course videos obviously are the gold, but always think about these sort of things, which are the kind of more admin-y, housekeeping-y type videos that you need to be making as well. And like I say, you know how to do that now because I've just demoed how you can jump into Descript and record it directly into Descript. That's what I would suggest you do, just because it's a hell of a lot easier, basically. So there you go. So that's that. And again, the whole point of this session, really, and the multiple sort of places that we're going with video, is to underline the fact that video is not just a beautiful Netflix style video that sits on your homepage and doesn't get any conversions. You need to be thinking all the way through your sales process, all the way through your customer journey. And let me know in the chat if I'm starting to lose you because I get too marketing chat when I talk about customer journey. Do you know what I mean? The process that you take people through from not knowing who you are through to consuming some of your content, through to just them deciding they want to work with you, through to they've bought your product. Yeah, 7-Eleven, 40, whatever it is. 7-Eleven, 7 hours of content people consume. 7-Eleven 4, that's right. So, now the decision kind of process takes a lot longer than it used to. On average, this is Google research from last year, people need 7 hours of content before they feel like they know and trust you. Okay, that's an average, obviously, and it will differ depending on the content you're making, the niche that you're in, all of that kind of stuff. But trust is cratering, okay? And there's lots of different reasons why that is, but we will have to work harder, not less, as we go forward, because people are super skeptical of anything online. They think it's all a scam. And that's sadly something you have to get used to dealing with, is people, keyboard warriors, telling you that you're selling snake oil or whatever it is. So unfortunately, it comes with the territory, but that is an element that you need to think about and work out how you can deal with that. Okay, because as soon as you start putting stuff out there, you will get these idiots that will comment on the stuff you're putting out, the fact that you're trying to sell a course or do a webinar or whatever it is. Ultimately, it is a bit of an ego bruising thing, but ultimately I know what I'm doing is for the right reasons, and I have got results for people, and that's what I hang on to in terms of those are the people I want to work with. All of the noise is off. It doesn't. They have reasons for for being like that and for doing that. That's their thing. It's not my problem. Any of you guys online now? Are any of you affiliate marketers? Would you let me know in the chat, please? Oh, so much pollen flying around today. Not yet, says Bimby. Let me know because I'm going to show you something very exciting. What do you mean trying to be David? You are. You are what believe in yourself. It's all good. You'll get there. Tell me, okay, so guys that are affiliate marketers or wanting to be or whatever, tell me what sort of products you are selling or what kind of services that you are selling. Let me get rid of that. So we are going to go into a piece of software called Kling AI. That is a video. Oh, welfare. Okay, that is quite a broad. Be a bit more specific for me, Mandy, please. That would be great because then I just to get a handle on what it is that you're doing. So for the purposes of this little demo, Mark, I tell you what, fishing is an amazing niche. Mark, I know you're doing all your kind of SMSs and WhatsApps and stuff. Fishing is fantastic. And again, so imagine I'm going to do something off the back of a product. Purposeful retirement, says Bimby. Excellent. Okay. I'm going to say something, Bimby, that's a really cool thing to do, but just make sure that you're really zeroed in on who your audience is and the outcome you get for them. Do you see what I mean? Because purposeful retirement sounds good, but it's quite a sort of broad thing. And I think when you're talking about audiences, and I know this is a bit of a side thing, it's about being specific. I get the specific results for this specific group of people. Are you a recent retiree from age 50, let's say age 65? Are you an ex-corporate person? So I help recent retirees from the corporate business landscape. What do you help them do? How do you help them do it? Sort of thing. But you need to be really zeroed in. So avatar's mid-50s male who is planning for their retirement. Brilliant. Just actually, when this sounds like a sales pitch, is not. But if you do the free courses, part of that I talk about is nailing your avatar, because you need to be, rather than trying to market to everyone. If you do general kind of wishy-washy marketing, no one pays it any attention. This kind of technology, AI, allows us to be super specific so Rebecca's saying, I sell group and Medicare insurance and work with all major carriers. I now have a wound care catalogue from a famous brand to offer a wholesale price catalogue with direct shipping from the manufacturer. So I need hospice, hospitals, and medical professionals. Brilliant. See, that's what I'm saying, Bimby. So Rebecca knows exactly who, and within those people, Rebecca, who would it be that you actually who are the decision makers you need to reach? Do you see what I mean? Mandeep just has lots of things going on. It seems like health insurance, geriatric care, perfect owners. Great. This is the thing. The more kind of zoomed in we are in terms of exactly who we want to reach and how we can help them, and also the transformation or the outcome that we or our service or our product will give those people, then suddenly when it comes to us formulating scripts and thinking about the videos and the content we create, it becomes so much easier because we are really zeroed in on exactly all of their pain points. And so it's about those owners. What are their motivations? What are they motivated by? What's keeping them up at 3 a.m. in the morning going, those are the problems you want to be talking about in your videos and addressing in your landing pages or your website or all of your communications to those people. Messaging is so important, so important. In the course and stuff that I run, before we get excited about Kling and all the amazing stuff that it can do, and there's obviously loads of other video generating AI things, these are just the brushes, right? The AI tools, you still need to know exactly who you're serving, why you're serving them, the transformation that you're offering them. Because if you don't know that, it doesn't matter how good the AI video software is, ultimately you will not be creating stuff that will land with the people that you want to get hold of to talk to about your product or service. And there is no way around that. It's not just like I'll just make some really cool monkey videos and everyone will really suddenly want my insurance. That's not how it works. You've got to really demonstrate that you understand where those people are at that moment in time and demonstrate that you can be trusted and that you have a solution or a product that will work for them, and then walk them through it. Anyway, that was a massive tangent, but it's so important because I think with AI, it's so hyped and it's very exciting. And I see this all the time where people rush off, start creating videos, but because they've not done the groundwork properly and they've not actually put the hard thinking in before generating video content, the video just doesn't land properly. And it's because the messaging's off, or it's because the audience isn't defined enough. Do you know what I mean? Or they're putting stuff on the wrong platform because they think they've not thought through where their audience actually is. Do you see what I mean? All of these things you need to be thinking about before you get excited and start creating brilliant or crazy or whatever video footage. I'm going to do a quick demo for you. So Kling Omni is a really good piece of software, a really good model, I should say, because what it allows you to do, like you can see here, it's generate that. I've not edited that. That's how it came out. And all I did, like I showed you before, I went to Etsy, I screen grabbed some images, and there's going to be a big caveat coming up in a minute, folks, just to give you a heads up. But I literally told it what shots to do and what camera moves to do for each of the shots and what to put in them. And then that's the resulting 10-second little video. Imagine that little 10-second video on a landing page of those cushions, as opposed to a load of, I'll show you what the Etsy thing looked like before. So you've got this. So you've got, great, okay, decent product shots, but they don't move. They don't attract the attention. They don't stop the scroll like we were talking about earlier on. So imagine then you creating something like this for your listing, and suddenly you're like, oh, wow, okay. In fact, there might be, look, they have done one, but you can see how much more engaging. It's Kling, Kling, but it's about 300, it's about 300 quid a year, I think. You basically get credits. The thing to bear in mind with AI video at this level, each video will probably cost you about $5 to create. Now, compare that to how much it would cost you to hire me to go and shoot something like this. You're probably looking at, we'd shoot multiple per day, but each video would be costing you multiple hundreds by the time we finished. Okay, multiple hundreds of pounds or multiple hundreds of dollars to create that. Whereas actually all we've done is taken some really good quality. The stills need to be good quality. And the most important thing, if you are thinking of doing this as an affiliate, you need to make sure you have the copyright clearance of the person who's created those photographs. So if you are an affiliate marketer, make sure sometimes whether you've got an affiliate product, there are pre-cleared images that you can already use. If there aren't, you need to make sure you have got written permission from whoever the product is. So in this case, I'd be getting in touch with wherever the soft home textile, and I'd email them and say, I'm just going to create this video for you. Do I have your permission to use your images, to animate your images? Because effectively, if I just screenshot that like I have done, and then I put that video out, I've basically broken that copyright. Okay, and I could get done for that. And because AI is so new, the law hasn't quite caught up yet, but absolutely it will. And there will be lots and lots of people wanting to stamp out copyright infringement. So do me a favor, if you are going to do this stuff, please, even an email confirming that they own the copyright and they let you, and they're happy for you to create the video for them. That's all you need. But just prove that you've asked them. But anyway, going back to this, here you've got static. That's anything moving will stop the scroll. And obviously we're just looking at Etsy here, but you see the point? So if you're creating these little videos with Kling, and that probably took me maybe 20 minutes to create, I'll show you what you need to do. Let me go into it. This is the prompt. You basically have 3 different shots. What I'll do is I've done a demo for this, like in detail, and I'll let Roger or Max send you the link to it so that you can see exactly how I did this demo. But basically with the prompts for these AI video generators, it's all about telling the AI what the camera's doing at any one point. And these, obviously, you've got 4 different shots. So I basically went in and I said, I want it to be a 10-second long video, because actually really for something like Etsy. You don't want it to be a minute long or whatever. And also, if I did want it to make it a longer thing with voiceover music and all that kind of thing, then what I'd be doing is generating multiple different versions of these sequences and then sticking them together in, guess what? Descript, because that's all you need to do. Export it from here, like literally download, and it will download. That's an MP4 file. I can cut. I can literally click and drag that into Descript, and if I did 3 or 4 of these sequences, I can then edit my own version and swap things around if I want to, put some music under it, do a voiceover. Then you can go and get the voiceover done in 11 Labs, which is fantastic. You can then take this as a starting jumping off point, or just do it like mute like this and plop this onto the Etsy or your landing page, and it will do. There's an 80% uptick if you use video on a landing page. So in terms of how this was done, shot one, you basically have the reference images. I'll go through very quickly what this looks like in practice, but just talking about the prompting itself, this is what I wrote. The camera starts on a wider shot than shown. You have a little reference image. There you go. That's the reference image, which is from Etsy, screen grab. So I want it to start wider. And when it cycles around, see, it starts wider and it tracks in, okay? Showing the idyllic garden setting with the sofa and cushions. The camera dollies in, so I'm telling it, dolly in is that move, is going in, okay? Into image one as the end frame. So I'm saying to it, I want that frame at the end. I want it to be that tight at the end. And actually it's gone slightly tighter, but it doesn't really matter. Image three, Michael, I would do if she was a real person. And I'll show you. She is someone I made up because I wanted to put some humanity into this scene rather than just be product. So you would do normally, you'd have to have what's called a release form, and they'd have to sign basically their permission for you to use their likeness. Should we create from scratch or just jump in whenever we want to? This was created from scratch, Mandeep. I don't really know what you mean by that, really, if I'm honest. So then in shot two, image three, to obviously tell it what reference image, a tracking shot left to. So the second thing you'll see is a tracking shot left to right. The camera's on a smooth left to right tracking move. Again, you can say it's wobbly or it's handheld, or you can specify the type of lenses on. So when you're to do good quality AI video, product video, you need to think like a director, okay? And also you need to think in a sequence. So I start with a wide shot. A wide shot is, this is where we are, okay? What you don't want to do. Oh, so basically, Mandeep, let me show you how this actually manifests, if you like. So I will go to Omni. So I go into that. Oh, I see. Okay, so I'm just taking these out. Hang on a sec. Let me just get rid of all of this. So this is where you'll basically end up here. So what you need to do is you go, that's the model. So I'm using Omni because that's the multi-shot one. Then I go, okay, I want it to be HD 1080. I want it to be 10 seconds long. Obviously, that's the length of the whole sequence. Okay. I want it to be 9:16 if that's TikTok, Insta, whatever, 1:1 or 16:9. I want one output because remember, every time it's generating, you're being charged in terms of credit. So each time you generate something, that's probably $5 or whatever it is. Now, then you need to make sure that your native audio, if it's just a product thing like we've just done, you don't need sound on it. There's no need, because frankly, most people are browsing stuff on their mobile phone. They don't have sound on it. So I would, and again, if you have sound on it, that's extra compute that the AI has to use. Therefore, they'll charge you more. So I take that off. Custom multi-shot there, look, multi-shot. And then what you then do is you'll start typing in your directions. But before you do that, let me just grab oh, there we are. So imagine, where are my images? Okay, so you literally click and drag in your images like this. And then I'll just do a wide shot for you. Okay. And then you go in and you basically tell it for each shot, like I've shown you up here. You then break down shot one, shot two, shot three, shot four. Do you see what I mean? And then you make sure that you say, so shot image one. So I say at image one, we start on a wider shot and dolly in. Okay. So that's literally all you're doing. And then at the end, you press generate and off it goes. And it takes about 5-6 minutes to generate a 10-second thing. But that is what you end up with, that sort of thing, which I think is pretty powerful. Okay. And you can see, look, I've done one here, which is very short 3-shot thing. And again, it's about that. The quality of that's fantastic. But in terms of the sequencing, if you're doing product shots, you want to see a close up of it. Absolutely. Because you want to show people what it looks like. Then you want a bit of branding. You want to show how it appears. And then again, that's what people are going to get. It's going to turn up in a nice little package. So you want to tell, even with 3 shots, you want to tell people a story in a sequence. So that's why you need to be starting to think like a director. Now, that might sound like it's really complicated, but just give it a go and experiment. But just think logically when you're doing kind of product videos, particularly, you obviously want to show a close up because you want to see the detail of it, but you also want to give them a sense of how it turns up, the packaging, like that shot there. Okay. Because that shot tells you, oh, wow, it's nicely wrapped up. I really like the branding on that shot there. I can see it's called Danning. It's giving you all those non-verbal cues, the way, even just with 3 shots, it gives you, it evokes an emotion in it evokes a sense of the quality of that product. So that's what you need to be thinking when, obviously, when I'm shooting on location, this is all the stuff that's going on in my head. But now we're just sat behind a computer prompting. We still need to think like a director and visually. I need a wide shot. I need to show it in context. And again, to that point that Michael made about the lady in the background, the reason I put that in on this one was I wanted to, this is all very product, but I wanted to get some kind of sense of humanity. This is what it might be. Look, this, you want to put people in that position, in that place, and go, that could be you wandering around in the background in your lovely garden with these cushions. Do you see what I mean? Folks, we're at the top of the hour. I hope you have enjoyed this session. Here are some resources for you. Kate, it's a pleasure. I hope it's not overwhelming, but just experiment and start. Like I say, you can do this in private and get yourself up to scratch, okay, before you ever put any of this stuff out. But this is all really powerful and very useful skills to start building up. Have an amazing day, folks, and see you in the next one. Take care.